Hey folks, Evil DM here, back with another episode of Batman the Role-Playing Game. This time we're going to continue along with our gadget trend here, and we're going to talk a little bit now about the time it takes to create the gadget, because you already got the gadget put together. You know what you want it to look like. Now it's time to see how much time it takes your character to build it. Now we're out of character creation. We don't have to worry about this part during character creation because we'll just assume that it's made when you pay the cost. Now, if you're in character in a game and you create an item and you want to get it done, how long does it actually take in game? Well, they have a formula for that on here on the book on page 108. And what we do for that is we take your gadgetry skill. That will be your acting value. Let me get the little chart up here for you. Your gadgetry skill will be your acting value. So we're going to go with a 6 for our gadgetry skill, just for this example. And the ability that you're trying to install on the gadget. First, you have to start with the body. That always you start with that's like the base of the item. You start there. From there, then you add the power. So each of these is a step. So there's times when you're building it, first you build the actual item itself. Then you start installing the actual powers and abilities and everything, the AV, EV, whatever you want to install into it, step by step, and you have to do this each time because it's part of the process. Back to the example. Gadgetry of 6, and we want to make a body of 3. So 6, 3, cross-reference, we at least need a 9 here. So we can spend hero points here to make it more easy. We can just roll and see what happens. It really, however you want to do it. But we roll. Let's just say we rolled and we got an 11. Oh, okay, cool. So we're right here, 11. Now what we do is we're going to go on the resistance value chart here. The effect value, again, is going to be your gadgetry skill. And the body will be the resistance. So we got 3 wraps. So in order for this to work, we need to get any amount of wraps. So it could be 1, 3, it could be all, it could be bonus. It doesn't matter. As long as you get 1, that's what matters. Now, let's get off this chart here for a minute. In order to build the item, you need to know how much time it takes. So we got 3 wraps so far that we earned towards the time of building this. According to the book, it takes 16 APs to build something, which is 48 hours. But since we earned 3 wraps, we minus the 3 off the 16, and we get 13, which I believe, yes, takes it down to 8 hours of build time. If you look at the chart on page 8, it'll tell you the benchmarks. It'll tell you that it is now 8 hours to build it. So here's what we're looking at. Gadget of 6, that's the AV. Body of 3, OV. Now on the results table, gadget of 6, EV. Body of 3, RV. We rolled an 11, that's 3 wraps earned. Minus it from the 16, boom, 8 hours. So we just cut it from 2 days down to just half of 1 day, pretty much. Now, let's just say we didn't roll that correctly and we failed. So if you failed, no big deal. You have to spend 10 hero points to just start all over again. And it's really up to your GM if they want to allow you to spend the 10 hero points. They could just waive it and say, yeah, you have the time. It's really up to your GM. You can also I've seen other GMs make people wait a full day of rest before doing it. It's really up to the GM. So you can also modify the time. The 16 APs, is it on the screen? Yeah, it is. Okay, you can modify the 16 APs before you start this whole entire process, but be warned. Now, you can add time, like if you want to spend extra special care on the project, increasing the time, 16 APs, going further than what it shows on here. Or you can say if you're in a rush, you can subtract from the 16 APs. But the thing about that is, for every point or that you subtract or add from here goes against your gadget skill. So if I'm, for example, I'm in a rush, so I want to spend less time on this and bust it out. I'm going to knock 3 APs off this, making it 13 so I can get it done in 8 hours. this gadgetry skill now becomes a 3 in both spots. But if I same time want to add 3 to it, then I would become a 9 as opposed to a 3. So you have to remember that you can do that. And of course, you can always add hero points to your rolls to make it easier. Now, if let's say you're working on a project and someone else in the group has the ability for gadgetry, they can join in with you. And that does help a little bit because it does do, if you follow on page 40, there are team attack rules, which it does tell you under gadgetry to follow. So the number of team members doing the project at once will, the opposing value shift will go down by 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 if you have 9 people working on a project. But the highest person's gadgetry skill is the one that's rolled, and then you do the minus column shifts based on how many people are working on it. Pretty simple, but okay, back to this. Now, if you want to modify it, like a gadget already in use, that's over here on page 109. An attempt to modify an existing gadget automatically has its OV and RV shifted 2 columns to the right because the character is adding to a gadget for which it was not intentionally designed. So if you're adding something to it, its OV of the, get back on the screen, the OV of 3 and the resistance of 3 now becomes a 5 on both because you're modifying it to something else. Now, repairing gadgets is the last thing we're going to talk about, and that's also very simple. The AV, EV, or let me get that chart back on here. The AV, again, will be your gadget skill number, and the OV will be whatever you're repairing. So, for example, the body, it's down to 0, and it was 3, so it's the same thing. You need 6, 9, cross-reference. The effective value, again, gadgetry skill versus your body. How many points do you get back? Simple. So if you rolled and you only didn't get any column shifts and you got 4, you would get 4. You're done. You got all your body back. That's all you need to do. And as far as time is concerned, it's the same exact formula as building the gadget as repairing the gadget. So hopefully that has given you some ideas how gadgetry works, and it's a lot more simpler than 2nd edition terms, 3rd edition. I'm not very familiar with 1st edition because I haven't looked at that for quite some time. I really do enjoy just this game as it is. Batman is simple. I like bringing things in and adding things to it as I'm playing. Yeah, I could look at 2nd edition, but 2nd edition adds a little bit more complexity to the game. I like this game simple and easy as is. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Keep it original and keep it old school. Good night, everybody.